Hello, good morning to all. A very warm welcome to the today's geography session. In the last session, we have finished our lesson 6 natural regions. Today, we will start with the new lesson of geography, that is lesson number 7 soils. Okay, so let us start, that is on page number 39. What are the different constituents of soil? From where do the abiotic factors become available for soil formation? On which factors does the variety in the soil depend? So now these are some of the questions which we will get the answer as we are going to study in the lesson, that what are the different constituents of soil, how do the abiotic factors become available for soil formation, and on which factors does the variety in the soil depend. While answering the questions above, you must have gathered some information about soil and realize some of its characteristics. Let us consider the soil in more detail. So even you can find out the answers to these questions. As you will find the answers to these questions, you will gather some information regarding soil, okay, and you will realize that there are some special characteristics of the soil. So you can just try to find out the answers to the questions which will help you to gather some information of the soil, and you can understand the characteristics of the soil by gathering this information. Let us consider the soil in more detail. The parent rock, the climate of the region, the biotic material, the slope of the land, and time are the factors that influence soil formation. So we always see that we also consider we are seeing soil everywhere, wherever we go, any different region, any different place, we can see soil. Yes or no? Maybe that there will be different texture, different color, or different uh, variety in the soil, but we always say okay fine, this soil is available there, but do you know how soil is formed? Okay, so what are the factors which are influencing soil formation? They have given some factors, so we are going to study one by one these factors. Factors necessary for soil formation. Parent rock. First is parent rock. Remember that the parent rock in a region is an important factor in soil formation. Depending, so parent rock is the first step, you can say, or is the first factor which is very important in the soil formation, and this parent rock is there in the region, so it varies according to the region. Depending on the hardness of the rock and the climate of the region, the rock gets weathered. So now any places wherever we go, there are different types of rocks, and these rocks, they are hardened. The rocks are always hardened. So how hardened the rock is, how much hardened, what is the quality of the hardening of the rock, and also how is the climate of that region, these both factors have the effect on the rock. How if the climate is very heavy rainfall it is there, then the rock will be weathered. Weathered means what? First of all, understand the meaning of the word weathered. Weathered means the rock is getting wear and tear, यानी due to the effect of the climate on the rock gets wear and tear. So that is called the weathering of the rock. So everything depends on the climate of the region. If it is hot and humid, the weathering of the rock will be different. If it is very heavy rainfall, then it will be different. So many other climates are there. So these all will affect the weathering of the rock. Then after the weathering of the rock, according to the climate of that region, this rock turns into powdery material, which further turns into earthy material. So rock के ऊपर जब वेयर एंड टेयर होता है, झीज, इन मराठी वी के बोलते हैं झीज, कोणत्याही गोष्टीची झीज होणे, that is wear and tear, that is weathering of the rock. So rocks won't remain as it is. उसके ऊपर पाणी का, त्याच्यावरती पावसाचा मार किंवा उन्हाचा मार जो काय बसतो, त्याच्यामुळे त्याची wear and tear होते, त्याची झीज होते, and then it gets into, the rock gets convert into powdery form, and this powdery form, this material again then further turns into earthy material. Okay, For example, the basalt rock of the Deccan Plateau in Maharashtra turns into black soil after weathering. So, basalt rock, which is there in the Deccan Plateau of our Maharashtra, after the weathering process, it gets converted into black soil. This soil is also referred to as regur soil. So, what is the other name? Regur soil. Rocks like granite or gneiss in South India give rise to red soil. So, even the granite or grease soil which is present in the South India, it gets turned to red soil. So, these are two examples they have given, that how the rocks due to the weathering and the condition or climatic condition gets converted to the soil. Regional climate. So, second factor we are going to see now, regional climate. I told you the weathering of the rocks, also affects, and also the second thing is the regional climate. This is also an important factor influencing soil formation. Weathering of the rock is the first step in the process of soil formation. So, we have done that weathering of rock is the first step, and after that the climate which is existing in that particular region also influences the soil formation. The process of weathering depends on the climate of the region. Yes, I told the climate decides the intensity of weathering, means the climate in that particular region will decide how much fast the weathering of rock will happen. The intensity of weathering will be dependent on the climate of that region. That is why one and the same type of rock gives rise to different types of soils when the rock is exposed to different climates. So, what happens if suppose same type of rock is there in suppose two different regions, but the climate is different of that two regions. So, will the same type of soil will be generated? No. Maybe the rocks are same, but the climate is different. Then the exposure of rock to that different climate will generate different type of soil. Okay, so that means the climate of that region also affects the weathering of the rock. So even if the same type of rock is there, but if they are exposed to the different type of climates, then the soil formation will be different. In the dry climate of Deccan Plateau, weathering of basalt leads to the formation of black soil, whereas in the humid climate, see now, in the Deccan Plateau, if the basalt rock is there, if it is getting weathering, it leads to the formation of black soil. If the same type of rock is there in the humid climate of the western Sahyadris, the leaching of the same basalt rock leads to the formation of lateritic soil. Lateritic soil means, see, in the Deccan Plateau the climate is hot and humid, that's why basalt rock is getting converted to which soil? Black soil. But the same basalt rock, when it is there in the western Sahyadris where it is very high rainfall, okay, then the weathering of the rock will be leaching. Leaching means what? The rocks, when they are exposed to very heavy rainfall, the water, the liquid percolates into the rock and the weathering of the rock happens. Okay, if the soil is drained away from it due to the water, especially rainwater, and then it leads to the formation of which soil? Lateritic soil. Okay, so remember this example, the basalt rock which is there in the Deccan Plateau, due to the humid climate, hot and humid climate, it is getting converted, the rock is weathering and getting converted into black soil, whereas in western Sahyadri same rock is there, basalt rock, but it leads to the formation of lateritic soil due to the climate of the western Sahyadris is, rainfall is there, that's why. Fine. So today I will stop here, and I will continue in the next session. Okay, bye for now. Take care. Have a nice day.